Democritus was an ancient Greek philosopher and was considered to be the father of modern science. He published over 70 books in his lifetime. His theory was that everything is composed of atoms. His atomic model was the first one ever created. It was a simple picture of a round atom with no protons, neutrons, or electrons. His theory stated that all matter consists of invisible particles called atoms. Atoms are indestructible. Atoms are solid but invisible. Atoms are homogeneous. Atoms differ in size, shape, mass, position, and arrangement. His work took place around 400 BC. Aristotle is also a philosopher and is known for teaching Alexander the Great. He did not believe in the atomic theory by Democritus. Instead, he believed everything was made from a little of earth, air, fire, and water put together, not by atoms. Aristotle was followed by many people, causing Democritus's idea to be overlooked for around 2,000 years, but he eventually was proven wrong. Aristotle also believed that matter could be divided over and over again. His work took place around 340 BCE. Antoine Lavoisier is a French chemist who is known as the father of modern chemistry. He also established the law of conservation of mass. In his work, he was able to distinguish between an element and a compound. He was also able to identify different elements. He named both hydrogen and oxygen and how they demonstrated with combination of water. John Dalton was a chemist, scientist, and meteorologist. He developed a more advanced atomic theory from Democritus. He stated, all matter is made of atoms. Atoms are indivisible and indestructible. All atoms of a given element are identical in mass and properties. Compounds are formed by combination of two or more different kinds of atoms. A chemical reaction is a rearrangement of atoms. His work took place in 1803. J.J. Thomson was awarded the Nobel Prize for Physics, along with many other people. He discovered the electron and subatomic particle. He discovered these by experiments with the cathode ray. Thomson determined that all matter is made up of tiny particles that are much smaller than atoms. He originally called these particles corpuscles, although they are now called electrons. He developed the plum pudding model that had electrons and protons uniformly mixed throughout the atom. His work took place in 1898. Robert Milken conducted experiments to find the electric charge of an electron. He used an oil dropping apparatus in his experiments, which allowed Robert to observe drops through a microscope. Oil would drop through the charge plate onto another drop plate where he can observe them using a microscope. His work took place in 1908. Ernest Rutherford is known as the father of nuclear physics. In 1911, he made a theory which was that atoms have a charge concentrated in their nucleus. This was made into a model which is called the Rutherford model. He also discovered and named the proton during a nuclear reaction in 1917. Ernest also conducted an experiment which was called the Rutherford gold foil experiment. It was a series of experiments which discovered that every atom contains a nucleus where its positive charge and most of its mass are concentrated. In 1924, Louis de Broglie developed a theory called the quantum theory. He discovered the wave nature of electrons and suggested that all matter have wave properties. In 1932, James Chadwick went through a series of reactions and experiments to find a neutral particle with a mass about of a proton, which is a neutron.